I'm here with Margaret Rapaport for Hippo, a movie that I really loved. First off, thank you so much for your time and this movie.
Thank you, Greg. I really appreciate that. Thanks for watching, and I'm glad you loved it.
So, biasly, okay, I really love black and white films. When did your obsession and love for the form start, and why was it the perfect choice for Hippo?
Great question. So I think that it's a twofold answer. One is I've always loved Alfred Hitchcock movies. That was probably the director that I first, really started to watch their work in black and white. Um, and the second is that my cinematographer, William Tracy Babcock, who shot Hippo, is an excellent photo photographer as well, and he would start taking these great black and white portraits like during early COVID, and I was just like, whoa, these look so cool. Like, why don't we shoot something in black and white? And he's like, yeah, man, like I'd love to. And it's kind of like you kind of expect the pushback of a cinematographer, a DP in modern day indie filmmaking world to be like, why would we shoot black and white? Like, but Will is definitely an artist first as a cinematographer, and so we bonded over that. And then, we were talking about it more for Hippo when we started to finalize the script and kind of realized it was not just for its beauty, but it turned out to be the perfect medium and style for the content. Because what we didn't want to do was make something. We wanted to help dampen the absurdity of the family and the piece, and we thought black and white would be like a good counterweight to like the ridiculous stuff happening in the script. Um, so that was, yeah, multi-pronged reason. But I've loved black and white now as well. It's growing on me more and more. And I want to shoot another movie in black and white.
That's awesome. You mentioned Hitchcock, and you know, as a youth, I'm sure you were obsessed with his films, but he always was about the moving picture. Cinema is moving images, and but is that has that been part of your aesthetic as well? I'm thinking even Brian De Palma, who Hitchcock was his favorite filmmaker, he talked about making moving pictures, and so many directors these days, they it's great to tell a good story, but a lot of their visuals aren't really on point or memorable. How important is visuals to you as a storyteller? And as far as that aesthetic, as far as moving pictures being moving pictures as opposed to just like a TV episode on a streamer.
It's a really fascinating angle and question because I think about that a lot. The moving pictures element and also how important the visuals are. Starting with the visual part, yeah, it's so important to me. And I do, again, credit Will, my cinematographer, for continuously um, pushing the boundaries and opening my eyes to what's achievable. And, when we collaborate, we try to always, yes, the story is the most important thing. And even Will, my cinematographer, will admit that because he knows that's what makes a good movie. But his job is to make sure we give something stunning and unique that aids the story. So yeah, like you said, it's a visual medium, and I do think that sadly a lot of let's call it the streaming sludge, and that's what we call it, the Netflix sludge. They forget that, and it's just the crack. It's just like a drug. Here's the story. Here's the plot line. She cheated on her husband. Here it is, and it's all just overlit and awful, shot on Alexa, but color grading you've ever seen. And so like for us, it's like, I mean, we even colored Hippo twice. Like we weren't happy with the first color grader on a low budget movie. We paid for another color grader. So we're obsessed with getting the image looking like it was intended. Because you still do have to grade the image, the black and white image, even though it's easier than grading color. But you still have to really you can really massage it and get it perfect. And I want to also address the second part of your question, the moving images element. The company that I work under, the brand Kinematics. That's sort of my like directing, producing label. Um, I picked that name because it means the geometry of motion. It's a scientific word, but I like it because it's like it harkens to cinema, like cinematic, but also it's kinematics, and it's somewhere on that wall up there, but my camera's not showing it. Uh, but yeah, so I think that from a visual perspective and a story perspective, it's important to remember, like you said, there's a difference between movie and TV. Movies move. They don't just move the image, but they also move your feelings and the characters. And you always have to have an emotional charge in every scene, or else, like, what's the point? TV, on the other hand, you go in and it's like, what are you eating? And that could be the scene. And it's like, there was no real purpose of that scene, but it was just like but maybe there was a joke. But we want to make sure everyone, like, kinematics, like geometry, like everything in the universe, like, um, I think every action has a reaction or whatever. And so that's what I try to instill in the storytelling as well.
Uh,
And any great movie does that. Yeah.
not to complain, you mentioned sludge. I call it content. I wouldn't have minded content sludge of Hippo being some kind of limited series on all these streamers because I'm fascinated by Hippo. I love Buttercup.
Thank you.
Ethel's an amazing mother. And is that, I know you're aesthetic, but is it a little bit bittersweet that you can't return to these characters again
Hmm.
because they're so lived in and your leads are fantastic?
Thank you. Yeah, the cast is absolutely pitch perfect, and I wrote the film with all of them in mind, including obviously Kimball, who co-wrote the film with me. Um, and no, it's like, if I could make a Hippo TV show, I probably would, because I agree, I do love them, and it is sad to see them go, but we are making a video game. We're making a Game Boy game. Um, yeah, that picks up on, like, on the movie's like central conflicts. So I have a guy in a great designer and friend named Anthony Wallace. He goes by Nara Makes Games on YouTube and Instagram, and he's almost halfway through making this Game Boy game, a black and white experience that you could play on a real Game Boy or online. So that'll help keep it alive as well, I hope.
Is it a
Um,
side scroller, an FPC meaning first person crossbow, or RPG?
Yeah, it's yeah, first person crossbow.
Yeah.
A little bit of both. It's a side scroller, so it's like you complete the missions and either you're evading these enemies, or if you're Hippo, if you're Buttercup, you're mostly evading. You're the shy one who's like scheming, and if you're Hippo, you're attacking um with your weapons, swords, what have you. Um, but
Yeah,
uh
that's amazing.
but so that'll be really fun as well. And that's really all Anthony running with this world. We came up with some of the levels, but he's really the guy behind that. So we look forward to that.
Apologies for not knowing how to pronounce her first name, but Kislinger as Buttercup. Where did you find her,
Yeah.
and how did you and Kimball, you guys were really able to build out her character? Because I think one of the conflicts is you're wondering whether Buttercup really loves his family, or
Mm.
does she want to strive out on her own? And it's really by the end, without giving too much away, it's sort of inferred the viewer can make his or her decision regarding Buttercup's own journey. But how did you and Kimball build it out? And having just that great actress in the role, how did you find her?
It's so fortuitous, because I met Lila at Berlin. I produced a movie called The Scary of 61st Street, which is like another wild movie, but I did not direct that. And we were at Berlin for that movie, which was also very cool because it was a small movie. And Lila won an award there for Best Supporting Actress or Best Supporting Performer, a very prestigious, Berlin Silver Bear. And I saw her film and I met her and I was like, wow, I wish I could work with, an actress like that. And then, like, we became a little friendly. And I messaged her on Facebook after Berlin and was like, if I wrote a script with you in mind, like, would you read it and consider it? And she was like, yeah, definitely. And she was like really enthusiastic. So I was like, oh my God, like, maybe she'll do this. And then she read the script, and yeah, she'd never been to America before. And, I think that was exciting for her as well. But she absolutely, I just think, like, when someone can have faith in you like that, she had no reason to have faith in me. I mean, I had done a short film that I sent her, which was, you know, I liked it. I mean, I was proud of it, but I didn't know that it would be enough to get her to, travel halfway across the world. Um, but yeah, we just got lucky that, similar to the way I met Kimball, sort of on a chance encounter, I was able to just meet this actress and shape the character for her and her accent, because she really, at the time, had very choppy English. Now her English is a little better, but it's still Buttercup. She's still Buttercup
That's
in real life.
that's very cool. Now, look, I'm way older than you. When I was a kid, Runaway Train was one of my all-time favorite movies. Eric Roberts, I think, gives like this iconic all-time performance, and he's followed that up with a great career. Now, what's it
Yeah.
like just to have the Roberts clan, the matriarch of the family, just as part of that collaboration effort? I believe I haven't seen Andronicus
Yeah.
yet. I know it's on YouTube. I can watch it.
Yeah.
What have they brought to you as an artist and as I guess a friend as well over the years?
Yeah, I mean, they're such a giving duo. Eliza and Eric, they're so cool and chill. And you know, yeah, I met them on Andronicus. So it's funny when I met them, I it was to cast the father in Andronicus. And I didn't put out a casting call for the mother yet, but when I saw like on this casting website, like Eric Roberts submitted a tape, and I did like a double take, and my friend was like, "Wait, Eric Roberts?" Like I'm like, "Yeah, yeah." I'm like, I can't be like the famous guy. Like I'm just like making a short film, and then we watched it, and I'm like, "That's the same guy," and I'm thinking, okay, well, he has the part. Um, and the woman reading with him off screen sounded really convincing and compelling. I was just like, by the way, who's, because I was still looking for a mother. I couldn't find one that I liked. I was like, who's reading with you? And it's like, oh yeah, that's my wife. Or maybe Eliza even answered the message. I was like, yeah, that's me. Um, and then I said, do you want to play the mom? Because also it was COVID and you couldn't, they were supposed to be a couple that had I won't, without spoiling it, they have an intimate scene. And, it's a lot to ask a couple and during COVID of actors to like to be intimate with each other. But if they're married already, then it's great. They're already COVID bubbling together. So that was just a happy accident, and they were both, like I said, so kind and giving with their time, and meaning going above and beyond of just the expectation of just showing up to set and doing your job. They want to hang out and talk and they tell stories, and they're just a blast. And so when with Hippo, it was just a natural extension from there of like using them as well. And Eliza just like I think gives the yeah, like you said, she's just like a comedic. Turns out she's like one of the greatest comedic actresses.
Mark, thank you. I'm out of here right now. 20-second wrap, just very quickly. You mentioned Hitchcock. For our listeners, once they love Hippo, what Hitchcock movie should they see and why to follow on that Hippo journey? And thank you for your
Mm.
time. Yeah.
Well, one in my mind is Rear Window. I rewatched that recently. It's just so good and simple and single location focused. And, I think the single location thriller is a dying art, and it has to stay alive. Not just because the budgets are low and they're easy for indie filmmakers to make, because they're awesome. They're like little plays. So that's a big inspiration for something like Hippo. These little contained plays. Yeah. Rear
Great.
Window.
Mark, again, thank you so much for your time. Really love Hippo. And thank you for telling the truth that mustard is the grown-up version of ketchup. So really appreciate it. It's the truth. So thank you so much.
God, thank you. Thank you so much. It was really fun, Greg.
Hey guys, thanks so much for watching this video. For more movie and television reviews and interviews, please subscribe to my Deepest Dream channel. Like, comment, share, subscribe. And as always, thanks so much for your support. Take care. Hey guys, thanks so much for watching this video. For more movie and television reviews